Hey, good morning. So, very little got documented from yesterday. I woke up with 25% battery life, and my charger was spent, my mobile charger. So, I knew I had to be super conservative, and so I, checked in with my family. That seemed to rank as emergency level. and I forgot to turn airplane mode off. So about 10 miles from where I wanted to land last night, I looked down and saw 13%, and I thought, oh my goodness, I am not going to have any battery life. By the end of the day, it's going to be gone. And then today, I am planning to go into town. So I will see electricity for the first time in 7 days and charge everything. But now I know what my electronics can stand. But I wanted to tell you, so at mile 110 was some church magic. That's what it was. It was trail magic put on by a church. They were the nicest people. So I decided to this is what you do when you're desperate, right? Desperate people do desperate things. So they're serving me hamburgers, which I could smell halfway up the mountain. And yes, I had another hamburger. I suspect I will be eating a lot of hamburgers along the way. More hamburgers on the trail than I have eaten probably my entire life. Okay, so I went right up to them and said, hey, does anybody have any way that I could charge my phone? I'm down to 13%, thinking they would take pity on me, right? And of course I did. And this really nice guy, we went through everything, trying to find because I've got cords that will probably attach to anything, but making it then attached to my phone was the question. It turns out that he had a 2-prong plug in his truck. So here we are. We think it's a miracle. He has to have his car on, so he doesn't want to leave it running. So, he does that thing where you can listen to the radio, but it's not running. And so I stayed about a half an hour hoping to fully charge my phone. And when I was done, I had checked it. It was 20%, so I left confident that it was doing its thing. And when I got back, it was only 15 again, because both of us forgot that when you do that radio thing, the car shuts off in 10 minutes. Mine does it too. I should have known. I think I just was, probably a little out of it from hiking all day. But anyway, doesn't matter. While the realization that I was now back to the 15%, another thru hiker heard, and he said, I'm going into town before I'll use up my mobile charger. He goes, here, why don't you just, add a little. And this is like between charging your electronics and toilet paper, I think it's the highest commodity. Like, it's the top seller. What's the word? It's the gold of the economy. So I couldn't believe it. And I challenged him several times. I said, are you sure? I don't want to take your whatever, battery life. And he said, no, it's all right, because I'm going into town soon. And I said, okay, that'd be great. So I charged to 50%, which was just so generous. I couldn't believe it. And then, so I was able to talk to my family last night, then talk to my family this morning, and look at this. Oh my gosh. It's a gorgeous day today. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It was a bitter cold. Bitter cold last night. And, all right, we had our first major equipment failure. So I bought my tent that I love. Oh, my Hubba NX. They don't make them anymore. Seems to be the story of my life. Everything I love, they don't make anymore. And actually, they did come up with a newer version, but the reviews weren't so great, so I was hesitant. But I love my Hubba. But I noticed, try to make this really brief, some of the poles looked compromised. So I tried to reach out to the company. I didn't get a response in time. Had to make an urgent decision. bought a new tent. Thought, if I'm going to do it, I'll buy an ultralight tent. So I bought a Z-Pax Pilot. I don't like it. I don't think it's the tent's fault as much as it's mine. I am not, I mean, as much as I love to spend time outside, I'm not this, like, knows all things outdoor person. And I do not set up that tent well, no matter how many times I read the instructions or watch the video. And so anyway, last night, I get to camp way late. Well, 7:15, which gives me about an hour of daylight. It is already so cold. My hands are freezing. I go to the shelter. It's full. No room at the inn. So I go find a spot. I start setting up my tent. I've got it completely set up. I go to put my backpack in. I unzip the vestibule, and the zipper broke. That vestibule is the only thing separating me and the wind coming through a screen. I was in hyper panic mode. I didn't show it, but I was feeling it. I realize now this morning I could have duct taped it to get me by through the evening, through the night. But I just ran up to the shelter and I said, I am begging you. I am begging you. Can we please make room for me? I ended up sleeping crosswise at their feet, which was fine. I made sure I was the one suffering. I don't think, nobody said anything. I don't think I made anybody uncomfortable or compromise their comfort, whatever. But it got down to the low 20s last night. I cannot even imagine if I was in that tent with the wind blowing through. I can't. So thank you, Jesus. There was room for me after all. And I'll tell you, I mean, this video is going to be long, but what the heck, the way Facebook works, I have to put multiple videos, and no sense in doing separate videos, so I hope I'm not boring you to tears. But remember how I told you about that lived experience with the Nalgene? And I get it. It's heavy. I wouldn't bring one either if I didn't have this one experience that taught me something. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to get into that story, but what I learned from it, I would love to share that story. That story is incredible, but it'll probably take 20 minutes to tell. It really deserves its own little video. But I learned during that, okay, I'll give you a teaser. I was out backpacking the White Mountains in June 15th, with some good friends. You know who you are. Love you. Hi. Anyway, there was a clothing malfunction, and I was freezing and didn't have enough layers. And one of the crew at the hut where we stayed handed me a Nalgene bottle full of hot water. And it was like a hot water bottle. And he goes, yeah, here, take this and put it in your sleeping bag. I was toasty all night. Can I tell you, that Nalgene bottle to me was like, my little precious. You know, from Lord of the Rings, my precious. No one was touching my Nalgene bottle. In fact, before I went to bed, I had him refill it and give me some fresh hot water in it. So now, like I said, if I ever have my cook stove so I can heat water, I will have an Nalgene bottle. And sure enough, last night I heated up my water and I put that Nalgene bottle in my sleeping bag with several hand warmer things. You know those things, hand warmer things. Okay, so I put one in each sock and I put one in each glove. And I was warm enough, not warm, okay? So my 0-degree sleeping bag that says I won't die, I'm questioning that right now because I'm not so sure. If I didn't, I had every layer, every piece of clothing that I brought on this backpacking trip was on my body. With my Nalgene bottle, with my hand warmer things, and I was still cold. So, yeah, 0 degrees. Okay. Anyway, gee whiz, I feel like I got way off track. So that was that. But then this morning, I managed to get up. Well, somebody had to go to the bathroom, and they were like crawling over me, which was fine. I told them they could step on me for all I cared for letting me stay there. it was like 5:45, and I thought, you know what? It's going to be cold at 5:45, 5:45, 5:45. It doesn't matter. Get up. So I got up and I started to do my whole morning routine and got out at a good time, which actually was 7:45, which is is really not that great. I would have loved 7:30. I don't know how. It doesn't matter. When I wake up, I still get out around the same time. I am very slow at camp, setting up and tearing down. Okay, maybe I just need a routine still. But today is supposed to be like around 45. So glorious, glorious, glorious. And I am headed, like I said, to town. I don't know how to say it. We call it the Knock. Everyone calls it the Knock, the N-O-C. But it has a very pretty name that's long and not something I'm used to saying, so it's hard to say. Hard to say and hard to remember how to say. My husband sprung for a room. I think I'm actually going to get some indoor plumbing today. Anyway, very excited. And maybe some pizza. Okay. All right. That's all that's on my mind right now. Off we go. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, what's this? Ah! This is the first time I've seen a heads up. Maybe they're like, wait, don't eat that snack. Oh, I can't wait to see what's ahead. And to think, I almost didn't have breakfast. Well, let's start dreaming. Pancakes with pure maple syrup, sausage and bacon, and scrambled eggs. Yeah. You know what? Whatever it is, I will be incredibly grateful. I'll check back in when I see it. Hey, so I want to tell you about the trail magic. I said I would wait till there was a decent view for you to look at. But I know that if I don't start that story now, I will forget because so much happens on this trail. And then if I don't do it, it gets lost way back. But anyway, so as you know, we saw the sign and I get there and okay, what you need to know first is I had left camp bundled up in like a million layers because it was still frigid. And straight out of the gate, we're going up this steep hill. So it didn't take long for me to start overheating, and I stopped and removed quite a few layers because I knew I'd have to anyway. But what I didn't anticipate was the trail would then flatten out, go down, up some smaller hills, and I was freezing again. I was not stopping. Stopping is a time suck. You have to stop. All these pit stops add up, and nothing ever happens at the same time. I never have to filter water or go to the bathroom or do a wardrobe change at the same time. No, it's 3 separate pit stops, and it adds up, and I'm tired of it. I hate the wasted time. I was actually laughing at myself. I said, I think that's why I like long distance running, because you just run. You just run. There's no stopping. You just run. You need a gel? You eat it while you're running. You need some tailwind? You drink it while you're running. There's no stopping. Just keep going. I like that. No waste. No waste of time. Anyway, so I get there and these, you would think, well, isn't stopping for trail magic a waste of time? No, it's really not, because they just want to do everything for you. They had water in jugs, so now I don't have to filter my water. I drank a bottle down, so now I'm hydrated, and filled my bottles up so they're ready to go. Now I won't have to filter water for a while. They even had a camper toilet. And it was wicked funny because the guy goes, you have to use the bathroom before you go? And I said, no. But it was like when you were little and your mother says, do you have to go to the bathroom? No. Well, why don't you go try? That was me. I said, but you know what? I think I'm going to go try. And it's a good thing I did, because I didn't realize I had to go pee, but I did. I learned how to use a camper toilet. I had no idea. So they charged my phone a little bit. I can't stay long enough to charge it all the way, but they gave me more charge so I can do videos like this. I got I'm sure I told you about the thru hiker that gave me some charge yesterday. He got me to 50%. And then they got it, I used some, and then they got it back up to 40 for me. So I'm still going to be conservative. I still got to pay attention, but I just, the trail magic is just so incredible. So first question, all right, let's do this. So I round the corner, I see them, they've got like a camper set up, right? And they have a fire. And I was so cold. And I said to the guys, I don't know what I love more, the food or the fire. And I sat down next to the fire and warmed up. Oh, it was so hard walking away from that fire. But I ask them all the time, like what inspired you to do trail magic and whatever. And apparently Tim, he's the one, there'll be a picture. I didn't take a video, I realized. But Tim has the longest beard. Okay, that's memory. If I'm wrong, I'll correct that. And he had done the trail 2 years ago, if I remember correctly. And so he wanted to get back. Now, they're from Louisiana. So Tim tells his friends, and his friends are all about it, right? And they're like, we'll make big, huge pots of jambalaya. And Tim's like, I don't think I got jambalaya even one time on the trail. That would be great. They were talking about how they make chicken spaghetti. They can make vegetarian jambalaya. And anyway, so they're going to be there like a week, camped out, just feeding hikers from breakfast to probably late afternoon. Usually at that point, there's less hikers coming through because they've figured out where they're going to stay for the night. Unlike me who gets into camp wicked late. Speaking of that, oh, why not ramble? It occurred to me yesterday while I was making my way to the shelter that I've been doing long miles. I did 18 yesterday, day before was 21. And I love it. And I'm making great progress. And I feel great. But it gets me into camp so late. And I don't love that. There's little time for socializing, which I do love that. And so I think I'm going to keep it at 15-ish for now. Maybe longer days. I can have longer hikes. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play by ear. There was a thought. Well, anyway, I was thinking about how, I don't know. What was I thinking about? Well, let me tell you this story. Okay, go back. So I wanted to tell you that these guys being from Louisiana got a real kick out of me being a Thibodeau. Thibodeau and Boudreaux, so they got a kick out of that. And we were telling funny stories, so I threw this story by them as my first audience to see if it was appropriate for my family and friends. Because I definitely hemmed and hawed as to whether to be telling you this one. But you are not here for only the good. You are here for the full trail experience, right? Okay. Good, the bad, the ugly. So this morning, I'm sure a lot of people had left earlier than me, but they were probably camping, or in their tents, I should say. So I was just putzing in the shelter, finishing up, and I was the only one that even looked remotely ready to leave when I left, right? So when I left, nobody looked ready. So now I think I'm alone out there, and I had just eaten, so, the GI is going to do what the GI is going to do. And you know what I'm talking about. It was short and loud. And I turn around instinctively, and isn't there a 20-something just behind me? Absolutely within earshot. So embarrassed, I whip around, and I think, acting like nothing ever happened. And I'm laughing to myself. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. All sense of social norms has left the station. I mean, what the heck? Yeah, anyway. So, I mean, if you think about it, I have not showered in 7 days. I have not washed my clothes in 7 days. I have not used indoor plumbing in 7 days. I guess it just fits, right? It fits. Anyway, I'm about as feral as I have ever been. Anyway, back to the trail magic. I got, because it's breakfast, they made me a little prepackaged sausage on buns, tiny little sausage patties and tiny little buns. Yes, I'm going uphill. And they nuked it. And I'm thinking as I'm eating it, I wouldn't be caught dead eating this at home. Not caught dead. And yet here I am, eating this thing and enjoying it, sadly. They had a bunch of prepackaged foods available to take with me. So I grabbed some vanilla Oreos. Meanwhile, on my pantry shelf at home, I've got organic substitute, the organic version of Oreos. Oh my gosh. Life is definitely different here. So how am I making peace with this? I will have my family send me meals when they do send care packages like my sneakers, like I said I would do in that food video. But I'm going to embrace this whole, diversity, food diversity. I'm going to embrace it as the full trail life experience. And I mean, if we're being honest, I wasn't always organic. For many, many years, I didn't even know what it was. I mean, for crying out loud, when I was little, when I was really little, I think only the hippies ate like that. Being honest, right? We were more sophisticated. We ate our spaghetti. Our spaghetti came in a can, and it was shaped like little O's. We didn't have all this nonsense. Pesticides, fillers. Although I want to say that even back then, if we go back to when I was little, because I'm old, I think there was even less preservatives. I think it has gotten much worse. So I'm glad I got on the organic bandwagon when I did. But for now, I'm holding on to as many of my principles as I can. But some are going to just have to abandon ship for now. I can survive 6 months. Obviously. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say about that. But they were really great guys. Oh my gosh, they were so funny. And they were telling me their funny stories, and we had a great time. And I know I was off. And I was contemplating whether to put on a jacket because, again, leaving the fire, I was freezing. And they told me, nope, you got a great big hill coming. And sure enough, right out of the gate, I did. So it's all good. And now the sun is high in the sky, so I feel a lot better. And okay, signing off. So yes, I did climb the tower. I didn't climb the one yesterday because I was trying to get to the shelter and I was just too much in a hurry. But I decided to take the time today. And actually right here, this where you can see the blue, like from end to end, like right here, that's where I'm headed and not too far. Like I'm gonna be there hiking through that very soon, actually. It's wild. I mean, how do you capture this? My phone just can't do it. I want it to. I know it won't, and yet I continue to try. You know what? I guess it's the reward for being right here, right now. God, it's beautiful.